Well, we get underway then. The referee is Herr Riedel for East Germany. And England in the white shirts and black shorts defending the goal to our right. Russia in their famous red with white shorts and red stockings. Blockin couldn't quite keep that in, so England get a throw. That's Rudakov, the big, tall Russian goalkeeper. Curry coming in hard on his man again. Curry, of course, penalised there, but I would think it's a fair gamble that Sir Alf Ramsey might well be grooming Tony Curry to take Alan Ball's place in the next World Cup game, the vital one against Poland, because, of course, it's likely that Ball will be suspended, having been sent off in Katowice on Wednesday. The Russians again now through Papayev. And my goodness, Shilton only just had time to get in from that back pass from Martin Peters before Onishenko was on him. Bobby Moore. The ball for Hughes. Good little play there by Emlyn Hughes, and the pass that finds Clark. Clark now with Peters away on the left for him. Here's Peters. Chivers in the middle, and Shannon's coming in fast as well. Hughes going down the line for him. Chivers back for Peters again. That's better by England, and a shot by Peters this one. 5 minutes gone, no score. And in fact, we saw once or twice in the early part of the game after England had conceded that goal in Poland. Some very useful build-up. Yeah. A bear-like man in defence there for the Russians, and twice coming away with it. But now Storm. Now it'll come to Shannon. Martin Chivers. The goal for England. They so sorely wanted with just 10 minutes gone. Just flicking it wide of Rudakov. Chivers was always just onside, and as the defender fell, a nice little flick wide of Rudakov. 1-0 to England. So that'll make them feel an awful lot better in this grinding heat in Moscow. 1-0 ahead for Martin Chivers, who's had the knack in the home internationals, and now here in Moscow of scoring the goals that set England on the way. But this is a very good Russian side. They've gone a long way towards qualifying for the World Cup. They finished top of their group against France and the Republic of Ireland. Now have to meet Chile or Peru to decide if they go to Germany next season. And the Russians probably much more accustomed to this tremendous heat that we've got here. Putilava. A little toe poke there to Papayev. Putilava again, the little flick through. Towards Andersian, and here's the chance now, and a great save by Shilton from Onishenko. Shilton coming off his line so quickly from the number 10 Onishenko, and really saved the day for England there. Beautiful work by Shilton. The crowd whistling, believing that Onishenko should have tucked that one away. England again, this time with Clark laying it on for Curry. This time Shannon's making the run, and Shannon got ahead to it first. But it's a goal kick, and England looking very lively. England badly needing a second goal, because I think as the game goes on, they probably will tire a little more quickly than the Russians. Not quite used to this tremendous heat here. But the Russians coming on again. There was a deflection. Now can Blockin turn that in? Wildly wide. That was an unlucky deflection for England, and it might have left Peter Shilton a bit exposed. Because as that shot came in fact it burst off Tony Curry. And Blockin, he had to take it quickly, but he snatched it wide. McFarlane to Moore. Russians in possession again. Story going in again very, very hard indeed on Kuznetsov. A flick again by Kuznetsov to Muntian. Moore there, putting it away. The throw to Russia. Muntian number 7 with it. Kuznetsov. Cross there again to the fullback. Trying the shot just over from Olszewski. feeling there was deflection on the way. This Russian fullback. A shot there that may just have deflected, but obviously couldn't have done, otherwise there would have been a... Peters. Another goal in the bank for England would be so priceless. Here's Shannon again. Well, he's keeping going, Mickey Shannon. And he hits the post! Well, I've never seen such a casual defence as the Russians there, and it's not away yet. But the linesman was flagging, so the second attempt wouldn't have counted in any case. But just look at that, how close England were to that second goal. The Russians all over the place. Now for England. Back for Roy McFarlane. And now for Paul Mabley. Peters has gone on the outside. But now Kuznetsov. Again, more casual play in the Russian defence. And now, Tony Curry. Still with Curry. And incredible again, the Russians were standing there looking. And Tony Curry can hardly believe how he missed that one. Just look, not so much at Curry, but just look how the Russians are looking and waiting around. One man taking him, and two men hardly filling in behind him. And the ball going wide of that far post. Kuznetsov, full of fire in the middle of the field for Russia. Here's Muntian coming into it a little bit more now. Seems to have been hiding himself for a long time in this first half, but now the last 5 minutes beginning to show a little bit. There's Moore. A header away to Tony Curry, who's got a lot to be pleased with in this first half. There goes the half-time whistle, and it really is so far so good for England, with that early goal coming from Martin Chivers after 10 minutes, that gave England the uplift that they so badly needed in this terrible heat, and after the bad results behind them. Well, that's one of the Russian substitutes on, number 13, Fedotov, as we welcome you back to the Lenin Stadium in Moscow, with England leading by a goal to nil. In fact, the Russians have brought two substitutes on, number 13, Fedotov, who you've already seen, and number 15, Kozlov. But it's England leading by this 1 goal to nil. There's Fedotov straight away. Olshansky to Muntian. You can be sure that England have had a full ration of salt tablets and massage in that dressing room at half-time, in a really determined effort from the backroom men to make sure that they hold this 1-0 lead. And it certainly isn't going to be easy for them, because here are the Russians again. Block in. A back heel. And it's Shannon. Showing a lot of fire and a lot of pace, but taken out of the play there by Lovchev. And a free kick to England. Mavis free kick to Clark. Still Clark. Played on now for Curry, offside. Really not been too impressive. Curry with the corner for England. McFarlane is right in there, and he's got the header! Just chipped over by Rudakov, where McFarlane is always dangerous. A good header by him, and the big man just turning it over. So it's another corner for England. McFarlane staying up. Hit lower this time towards Barney. Peter Kuznetsov goal! It had to be an own goal by Kuznetsov, but it's a priceless one for England. Here's the corner by Mickey Shannon. And Kuznetsov trying to breast it back. And Rudakov away off that near post. And a simple goal that gives England a 2-0 lead. So that's the lead that England have really fought for. It's the second goal in the bank that could be so important as the tiring later stages of this game unfold in the tremendous heat here in the Lenin Stadium in Moscow. Clark to Story. And if England can get a win here, it's such a good one, such a morale booster. The 2-0 scoreline we see there to take to the next match against Italy in Turin. Forward this time. And it's Olshansky. Fedotov to Olshansky. Still the big fullback, Olszewski. And he's given a penalty. He's given a penalty to Russia. Although it looked a bit like a foul by the big Russian fullback, the East German referee, Herr Riedel, has given a penalty to Russia, which, if they take it and score from it, surely is going to open it up. Now, who's going to have this responsibility? It looks a bit like Muntian. Muntian then is going to take the penalty, the World Cup player that we saw in Mexico, with a vital kick that might get Russia back in the game, with 20 minutes of the second half gone. And it's there, and that is 2-1. The England players complaining that there was a Russian player well inside the area, but that shot was well out of the reach of Shilton. And Russia now are right back in it. And another substitute coming on. Mike Somerby, I think, is coming on for England. Somerby on and Shannon off. Muntian, the man who has scored. From the penalty. So Shannon off, Somerby on, and Russia now beginning to pick it up through blocking. Can England hold them out? There's Bailey desperately trying to stay with Locking, and he's put across there, and somehow Hughes got a foot to it and got it away. And Hughes got a head to it and got it away. There's a shot there and a fine save. Oh, and a marvellous save by Peter Shilton as Locking came in. Tremendous shot in the first place by Fedotov. And Shilton, that was a great volley, and Shilton did well enough, but just look at that as a despairing push away. And now this looks dangerous, but Kozlov missed it completely. Curry wanting somebody to come closer. That's a good ball again by Curry to Chivers. And now for Malcolm MacDonald on the left boot, and he's onside. And that was a tremendous shot by MacDonald. Good piece of goalkeeping by Rudakov. Onto that famous left peg. He really got clear of that defence again. And whack. Beautifully on target, but a good save. And now it's Russia again, and this is just wide. Fedotov, who since he came on as a substitute has been a constant source of worry, but now Curry for England, taking it up with a lot of space. Somerby playing wide again, trying to stretch these Russian defenders as far across the width of the pitch as possible. It's Somerby again. The low cross, gobbled up though by Rudakov. Lovchev to Vasilin. Vasilin to Muntian. Beautiful skill. Still Muntian. And good skills from Curry too. Too high for Chivers. Lovchev. The Russians now really piling men forward. Oh, that's a good place by Blockin. Stole a fantastic dummy there. That's Blockin. Here he is now in action again. A great dummy that he sells on. There it is, on Madeley, giving himself that yard of space. Muntian, who really has begun to sparkle in this second half. The long ball beautifully played to Olszewski. Bobby Moore again in first for England. Kurtsilava. Kozlov. And here's Muntian popping up again on the left wing. A little pass for Blockin. This is dangerous. Blockin. Yes! Stuck away. No, offside. Offside. No goal given. Because although Blockin did superbly well, and it was Kozlov who poked it in. Kozlov was standing in an offside position, and so England are safe. but straight to a Russian, and it's Vaseline again taking it up for them. And now, once more, the dangerous block-in, and England look a bit stretched. Good challenge, though, by the England defence, by Roy McFarland once more. Hunter going in, so too is McFarland. But the Russians kept possession again. Played deep this time for Muntia. Block-in down and injured. Some hieroglyphics there that don't mean too much to me. And just wide of that far post. So the Russians, very sporadic raids that they are setting up now, but like this one here, they can look very dangerous, particularly down the flanks, particularly with block-in. But that shot wide of Shilton. Played back for Story. Moore is behind him. It's not a time for tricks, though. And Moore plays the straight ball to Mason. And there goes the final whistle. Bobby Moore, the last kick of the match. It is 106th cap for England, equaling the record of Bobby Charlton, beating the 105 of Billy Wright, and takes England to a 2-1 victory under the most trying conditions here in the Lenin Stadium in Moscow. Fierce heat, but England got off to that good start with a goal by Martin Chivers. They looked good because they attacked well. Hertzilava an own goal. Made the second one, although the scoreboard gave it to Chivers, and then Munchen a penalty, making it 2-1 to England. Now let's go back to London and join Dickie Davis.
Well, a sound and encouraging performance there by England, and as Brian had said earlier, a morale booster for the next match in Turin against Italy. Let's bring in our two experts, Jackie Charlton and Gordon Banks. Let me ask you first, Gordon, for your overall impressions of the game.
Well, I thought this was a great improvement on the game against Poland. I thought everybody gave a lot more to this particular match, and certain players were outstanding. I thought Curry in particular had a marvellous game, and I thought Martin Chivers played far better than he did against Poland.
Jackie, you forecast that England were going to beat Russia 3-1 before we saw the match. Were you happy with what you saw?
Yeah, I thought it was 2-0 actually. I didn't agree with the penalty at all.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, I was delighted with the game, particularly the way that we got Curry in, who started to feed balls forward for the three front runners. Their strength, their great strength, is the fact that they're great forward runners, and they need something to go after and to chase and to fight for. And he gave them this today. This is why we're two strikers, Shannon and Chivers, played really well today.
Well, England struck early and they had a good first goal, and we saw Chivers looking much more aggressive and persistent. We'll pick this goal, though, up in the midfield with Story.
This is the sort of ball that Chivers loves. I mean, he saw something there, and he uses his strength, actually, to go for it. Watch when the ball's headed in. Martin Peters heads it in. Now, Chivers can see the ball, and watch him shrudge off this fella. He just shrudges him off. His strength's there. He can see where the ball is. He fights for it. And he knew what he was wanting to do with the ball when he got it there. But these are the sort of balls that he thrives on, things that he can see and go after. I thought he took the goal very well.
Brave, wasn't he? He got his foot in there, you know, get in and clear it. And he
yeah, actually, I must say, Shannon and Chivers look very sharp today, much sharper than we've seen them for
because they weren't expected to come off for every ball and have to play little short balls and turn. They were allowed today to turn and run, and people were trying to give them the ball in front of them so they could go at the target. Mick Shannon, on 2 or 3 occasions, took on people in unbelievable situations outside the box, but he was running at them, got a rebound or two, strong, fit lad, and he fought for them, and he got the rebounds, and he went into some great positions, and so did Chivers. They let Alan Clark do most of the coming off today, didn't you think?
Yeah, I thought, you know, the supply, same as Jack says, you've got the strong runners up front, but the supply came to them from midfield, which was very important, you know.
Actually, England's second goal bore some resemblance to the first goal that Poland scored against England at Katowice, but this one came from the corner, of course.
Well, this one is a particularly good one for Martin Peters because he takes the fullback away with him towards the ball and then deliberately lets it go. If you look, the lad behind who it hits only sees the ball in about the last 10 yards because it came through 2 people. And in fact, you know, if anyone was to blame, it was the goalkeeper for not covering the near post. Yeah. I don't think the fullback knew much about it. But Martin Peters did well to take the fella to the ball.
The position taken up by the goalkeeper there, Gordon.
Yeah, I thought the same as Jack. The fella just behind Martin Peters couldn't see it until the last minute. But I thought the goalkeeper must have known that the player in front of him was going to get the ball, but he seemed to go behind him. I thought there was a little bit of misunderstanding there, and I thought he should have been covering the near post rather than covering the player.
Jackie, you said earlier that the score should have been 2-0 because of that penalty incident. There was no doubt at all that it was not a penalty in your mind, was there?
No, the fella knew that he wasn't going to get through, but he knew if he could get the ball through and try and follow it. When he comes inside here, he got away from Emlyn, and then he turned inside. He realises now he's not going to get into the space. But watch, he starts to dive even before he gets to Story. And he was making a dive before he got there. Story realised he was going to do this and tried to get out of the way, put his hands in the air, but it unfortunately gave a penalty.
Yeah, I think he conned the referee a little bit.
He conned everybody there. He knew what he was trying to do, and he got away with it.
In fact, went the right way.
It was a bit unlucky, yeah. It was a bit unlucky, nearly got it.
Shilton, how impressed are you with Shilton now? Very impressed, Gordon?
Yes, Sam. He's settled into the position very, very well, and he's really proven himself.
Actually, neither goalkeeper's had too much to do today, really.
No, he didn't. No. But what the Russian goalkeeper had very little to do. In fact, I don't think he had to make a save in the game apart from one that Martin Chivas hit. Obviously, we've seen a lot more than the people at home because we saw the whole match this afternoon. Yeah. But Shilton had 2 or 3 saves. One ball had kicked up in front of him, and then he knocked him down. He knocked it down, and then he went after again and flicked it away from the fella, which we saw in slow motion, I believe, earlier on. Yeah. That was a tremendous save.
You talked about Curry. You were both very happy with his performance today. In every sense, actually, because he was pushing those balls up and he was also winning balls.
Well, he came back and he did his job in midfield. Like, he put himself between the man on the ball and the goals all the time, and he kept them away from the back four. He didn't let them get at the back four. And when he was called upon to go in the back, he did it wonderfully well. Some of his balls were great. You know, he was tremendous. This early ball that he puts in here was a great ball because he saw the people coming to the near post and put it in really early. I think Mick Shannon was probably 6 inches away from scoring a great goal there.
Yeah, it was very unlucky.
I don't think the goalkeeper would have known much about it if he had just got a flick to that. But it was an early ball, and the sort that I like to see people put in. But his control at the back, and that was great. And he hit some beautiful
this really gives a long ball for Clark here down the right wing. It's a fabulous ball, it really is. This is the sort of thing I thought was missing against Poland. I thought England were playing too many short, square balls, and the build-up was very, very slow and methodical.
But this is where Shannon showed his strength in his running forward. He took on about 3 people there, and it was sheer strength, and he was dead unlucky that he didn't get his finishing shot in.
He was, yeah. It was a good effort, that really.
But a strong runner forward, Mick Shannon, and great at this. You know, these are the sort of balls we've got to give these 3 strikers to get the best out of them. That's where their strength lies.
What about the Russians? You were fairly disappointed, I imagine, in the way they were uncertain and confused at times, weren't they?
They didn't do anything in the first half. You know, England dominated most of the game, picked up everybody.
I don't know, Jack. I think they said when everybody said they were going to do in the press, you know, the manager and the coach had quoted that they were going to go forward and go for goals. I thought they did this. I thought they pressed forward, especially the midfield men, to support the front runners. But fortunately for us, England looked very strong at the back. I thought they got back in numbers, and I thought they picked up tremendously well in time.
Let's just have one final word on Bobby Moore. What about his performance today? A very quick one.
He's answered his critics. He did nothing wrong, had a great game, tremendous game, Bobby Moore, never put a foot wrong. He's made his mistakes. I think he's learned from them.
Will he get his 107th cap, you think, against Italy, Gordon?
I'm sure he will, yeah. Playing like today, I'm sure he will.
But you think they'll play him, do you?
I'm certain they'll play him.
No, I don't think Alfred
You don't think so, Jack?
No, I don't think Alfred play him. He's proved a point that Bobby's still one of the world-class players he's got. And to throw him open to the Wolves again, if anything happens against Italy, you know, it could do irreparable harm. I think he'll get his 107th cap, but I think it'll be next year.
Well, thank you very much indeed. I must say thank you very much, Jackie. Thank you very much, Gordon.